Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. People, this the intro.
Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you also follow me on all my social media platforms to stay connected with all Keek on the Mic news. So, Bears fans, today on the podcast, I wanted to talk a little bit about expectations for the upcoming Chicago Bears season. And why I bring up the topic of expectations today on Keek on the Mic is that in a recent interview during his football camp, Justin Fields was talking about how OTAs changed his expectations for the 2023 NFL season. And when you look back at last season for Justin Fields in particular, it was really hard season for Justin Fields. Obviously, he failed to finish the season due to injuries, and that's because he was running for his life. We all know it's not his fault. But the Bears lost 10 in a row. It moved his record to 5-20. I all know that this is not all on Justin Fields once again. It's definitely a team stat. But all in all, it was a really hard season for the Chicago Bears, and it left a lot wondering what was in store for the Chicago Bears. What was Ryan Poles going to do to not only help Justin Fields, but to help improve this roster? Fast forward to now, Ryan Poles has really done a lot to help the Chicago Bears roster. We all know he traded number 1 overall pick to add DJ Moore, signed TJ Edwards, brought in Tremaine Edmonds, drafted Darnell Wright, signed Nate Davis, signed Dante Foreman, signed Robert Tonyan. You still have Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, and Chase Claypool coming back. So obviously Ryan Poles has done a lot to help Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears roster, but still, it still took Justin Fields a long time to figure out what was the expectation for this team and why should Justin Fields be optimistic about the future. It took him a while to see the big picture of where this football team was going, because Ryan Poles absolutely came in and butchered this roster. He tore everything down to the bare minimum and then built it back up, and we all knew that that was Ryan Poles' plan. He wanted to rebuild the roster in the way that he felt that it should be. And overall, I think we all can understand as Bears fans that Ryan Poles has done a great job. And we all know that was by design. Ryan Poles wanted to do this. But while at his football camp, Justin Fields talked about, it wasn't until they came back to OTAs, and it wasn't just a him thing. It wasn't until they came back to OTAs where he finally saw the big picture of the direction of this football team and where Ryan Poles was going with this roster. He said this in his recent interview. "It's a very exciting time just because of the new pieces we have on our team," the Bears quarterback said Tuesday at the football camp he hosted at Deerfield High School. "Really, OTAs made it more exciting. Just the culture we put in place last year and all the guys. I think we're all just trying to reach the same goal, and that's to win the Super Bowl." And Bears fans, that's obviously really good to hear from Justin Fields, that players, including himself, are feeling really optimistic about this season, because last year, it was really hard for players and Bears fans, or just the Bears franchise in general, to feel optimistic about that season. Once again, we went 3-14. We lost 10 in a row. So I can understand why Justin Fields was feeling down on himself. He puts a lot of pressure on himself to be great. And even though it wasn't all on him, I know that he was really hard on himself that the Bears were the worst football team in the National Football League. And in fact, they lost 10 games in a row. I know that he put a lot of pressure on himself. So I can understand why Justin Fields was feeling less optimistic going into the offseason. But it's great to see that there's this newfound optimism around this football team. And something that I really want to bring up in today's episode of Keek on the Mic, where this new optimism comes from, not only from Justin Fields, but the Chicago Bears, is the fact that Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus put a whole lot of emphasis on acquiring more locker room leadership. Yes, they were also looking for talented guys that can come in and contribute to this Chicago Bears football team right away. Guys that can help the Chicago Bears get back to winning championships for this great organization. So yes, it was a lot about talent, but they were also looking for high character guys as well. Guys that can come in and also be leaders for some of the young guys that we have on the Chicago Bears roster as well. So it really wasn't a surprise that they got guys like Tremaine Edmonds, a guy that came from Buffalo, a guy that's used to winning, a guy like TJ Edwards, a guy that was just in the Super Bowl, a guy that came from an organization in the Philadelphia Eagles that are a very good organization. Then you can also look at guys like Dante Foreman. He spent 2 years really helping Tennessee win back-to-back division titles. So guys like that, you can even throw in Robert Tonyan as well, a guy that came from the Green Bay Packers organization. They have been a very good organization for years now. So it's no coincidence that they added guys like that to come to Chicago, high character guys with strong leadership skills, guys are going to come in and not only help on the field, but also help on the leadership aspect and help those young guys develop as well. So it's no coincidence that Justin Fields and the rest of the Chicago Bears organization is having a lot of more optimism going into this new season. And Bears fans, the best part about adding all those guys and bringing them here to Chicago is that Justin Fields can finally see the big picture. And overall, it's exciting. He also added this in his recent interview. The leaders that we have, like Tremaine, TJ, of course, DJ on offense, and Dante at running back, we have a lot of new pieces and everyone's excited. We're all here to push each other to get better. It's gonna be a fun season. And Bears fans, Justin Fields is absolutely right. It's going to be a very fun season. We have talked a lot about here on the podcast about what DJ Moore means for this offense, what he means for Justin Fields. Dante Foreman's going to be a big piece in the backfield. Of course, we talked a lot about Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, how they're going to be the new faces of that hopefully revamped and improved Chicago Bears defense. So yes, it's going to be a very fun season. We do know, though, that this is far from a finished product. Ryan Poles is always going to continue to try to make this roster better. But Ryan Poles, it's always going to continue to try to make this roster better. But when you add all this together, when you add all the talent that Ryan Poles has added to this roster, and then you think about the aspect of Justin Fields taking that huge leap this season, we've talked about this many times on the podcast. We expect big things from this Chicago Bears football team. This is a team, despite their 3-14 record, they lost a lot of one-score games that could have easily went their way. You look at games like the Washington game where you lost 12-7, a game where if Darnell Mooney catches that ball, you win the game. You look at that first matchup against the Detroit Lions where you lost 31-30. If Justin Fields doesn't throw that pick six, maybe if Carlos Santos makes that extra point, maybe if the defense doesn't give up a 24-10 lead, right? Maybe you win that game. So there was a lot of close games that the Bears could have easily won. So now I can understand why Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears are optimistic. I can understand why they are excited for the season because they understand with the new talent added to the roster, and with the culture that Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles have set in place here in Chicago, there is a lot of room to be optimistic about the season, and it's okay for them to be optimistic, and it's okay for Bears fans to be optimistic. It should be a much improved Chicago Bears team. And overall, like I keep repeating here on the podcast, I am super excited. I'm not only about Justin Fields this season, but I'm excited about the Chicago Bears as a team because I think 3-14 was no indication on how good this team could actually be and the potential that this team actually has, right? So we all understood that what Ryan Poles needed to do wasn't easy. It wasn't easy as a fan watching this rebuild. We're still watching the rebuild, but I think it gives us a little bit of peace that we are now going in the right direction and we now understand the big picture, much like Justin Fields now understands the big picture and the direction of this football team. So overall, we should be very excited for the Chicago Bears season, and we should just be really hopeful about the direction of this football team and just get ready, Bears fans, because I think it's going to be a great season for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. What is your prediction of the Chicago Bears record this season? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You've been listening to Keek on the Mic. a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.